Hello everyone, it's Dawn and welcome back to my channel. So we're going to wrap up the week I should say, with another project using our nesting dies, but in a sort of formal way, not too formal though, but you'll see how we go. And thank you very much for all of those who have requested a series on using our nesting dies to be making large numbers. We will be starting that next week. And what I'm going to try and do is slip in an extra one. I'm going to try and change the schedule next week and do Mondays, Wednesday and Friday, just to get the series moving a bit quicker. So we'll see how that goes. But for today, we're going to be using our rectangular dies and we're going to be making a 5x7 card. So I've got a 5x7 card which I cut from, well, I cut mine from watercolour paper because it's a bit thicker than cardstock and you can get away with putting more on it without it collapsing. So that's the first thing we're going to use, just plain, but you can please use ordinary cardstock if that's what you prefer to do. That's just a personal preference on my behalf. So you're going to need a mat, but you don't have to use these colours if you don't want to. You can use any colour combination you like. I'm going to stick to two colours, this time red and white, and our first mat will be 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and it's the same both sides, so it doesn't matter which side you put your glue on. I'm actually going to use the craft glue to put this together throughout the whole project. It's going to be a PVA style quick grab glue, so we're going to carry on and do this all together and get this done fairly quickly. There's a bit of fiddly stuff to do, but it's not too fiddly. And we've got some letters from a set of alphabet letters that I picked up a while ago. So we'll come to that at the very end of the video and it'll reveal the message on our card. So I'm going to pop that down there and it should dry pretty quickly, hopefully not too quickly because I haven't got it quite in place. There we go, that should do it. And then you will need another mat of 6x4, and this time I'm using another white mat, and again I'm going to be using my PVA quick grab. Any quick grab glue will do for this, so you don't have to worry about brands or names or anything. Any PVA style quick grab glue will do for this project. So we're going to get that done now. You don't have to use construction glue, but of course you can if you want to. But if you do, only use it for maybe one layer, because otherwise it could be too thick and it might end up making your card top heavy, because it does make it very strong. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in some leaves, which I've die cut. So I've only cut actually 2 styles of leaf, but I've cut them 4 times. And I'll show, and we're going to put these down together, and because they're rather fiddly, it's actually best to put the glue on the card. It won't show by the time we're finished, so I'm not too worried. So I'm going to have one sticking out there, coming out from the corner there. This glue dries clear, so I'm not at all worried about it splodging, and of course the fact that it's on white card makes it even better. So that was far too much, but as I say, it will dry clear, so I'm not at all worried. And I'm going to put another one in this corner, but not quite as much glue, just a splodge, because it only needs to be held down at the edges, and you'll see why when we're finished. It's only the edges of these leaves that need to be held down, because we're going to put another mat on top of that in just a moment. So just a little bit of glue. I'll use the spatula on the end to spread it out a little bit. That's better. We didn't need all that glue, all that splodgy glue. Never mind. And we'll just put this all together in real time so that you can see it building up. And we'll do the same when we go to put the letters on, because they're a little bit different. So we've got 4 there, and what I'm going to do is I've got these leaves here, and I'm going to put one I'm just going to put some glue there, and I'm going to put a little bead of glue there. All that mess in the middle will be covered up, so I'm not worried about it. And I'm going to push that down in the centre like that. Get that the right way round. And push that down in the centre like that. And what I'm doing with this, one of the reasons I'm making this style of card, is because I have got dies that I haven't used for a long time, and I have got a whole drawer full of coloured cards that hasn't been used at all. So I want to start using up what I've already got. Because let's face it, things are getting more expensive as time goes on. And the more we can make our stash last, the more ways we can use it and make it last longer, the better. So if it does go over the edge of that white mat, that doesn't matter at all. That's no problem. I'm not worried about that. Neither am I worried about the glue splodges, because as I say, they will be glued down. They will be covered up. In fact, we're going to do that right now. You will need another mat, and this one measures 2.5 by 3 inches. Now, don't worry about all of these measurements. I know there are quite a few, but please don't worry about them. They will be in the description box at the end of the video, so don't worry about it. So you don't have to dash out to write it down. I'll add it all in the description box below. So just enjoy the rest of the video, and by the time you get to watching it, everything will be there for you. So I'm just going to pop some more glue, or some glue I should say, on here. Use the spatula on the end to spread it out a bit. I just want to make sure, for this bit anyway, that it gets in the corners, because I want that to stay flat, and I want it to cover up the ends of those leaves like that. See, there we go. There, now that hides up all that mess underneath. We'll just spread that out a little bit more. Oh, one of the leaves have come off. That's all right. There'll still be enough there to stick it back down again. There, so if it does come off, if you have got leaves that are a bit delicate, just don't worry about it. It'll just go back. And there's a bit here that there's always one spot that misses the glue. So we'll just put that down like that, and that will be fine. Oh, that's not quite straight. Let's just straighten it up a bit. That's better. And so I'm going to leave those like that. I could have put some coming out here, but it really doesn't matter. So I've got some letters over here, and I've cut my letters in white card. It's not usual to do that, I know, but I didn't want to do them in red, obviously, because they wouldn't show. So I've done them in white to coordinate. And so I'm just going to put the glue along the biggest side, the broadest side of the first letter anyway. And then see how we go from there. Now there's not much room, so we'll have to put our letters fairly close, but we should be okay. I measured this all out before I started with my dies, before cutting them, and we should be okay. These are the Creative Crafts alphabet, which I actually picked up in a magazine, or a bunch of magazines actually, in WH Smith in the UK. There was a pack with about 3 or 4 magazines in it, craft magazines, and one of the packs had this beautiful alphabet set, and I thought, well, that's a bit of luck, because at the time I did have a set, but they were rather decorative and bigger than these, and I wanted a smaller set, so these fitted the job quite nicely. So we're going to put that one there, so that's more or less straight, I think. And there's still a bit under here that doesn't want to sit straight, but you're going to sit down whether you like it or not. So just put a blob of glue out. Oop, a bit too much, never mind. See, that's the problem with a new bottle. This is my sample glue from I have found a new manufacturer, or a different manufacturer, who will make my glue, but we haven't quite got there yet. This one's a bit runny compared to the previous one, so we're not there yet, but we'll get there. So I think the next batch is due, or the next sample batch is due at the end of July. They said they think they'll have it ready by then, but this one is far too runny. But never mind. And of course this hot weather doesn't help because I think it's melting it. Here, in our corner of the UK, it is boiling. I don't know what it is in Celsius or centigrade or whatever the modern one is, but here it's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know the modern one, I was brought up in Fahrenheit, but it's hot. But that's all right, we'll carry on anyway. So we're nearly there. So you've probably worked out that it's going to say for you. But we'll just take that bit of glue off. And one more letter, just the U to put on, and we are done. I'm not going to put anything in the middle yet. I shall leave that for when well, for you, it can be for any occasion. It doesn't have to be a birthday. It could be for anything. It could be just because you want to send somebody a card who perhaps might be feeling a bit low, or you haven't heard from for a while and you just want to send them a little note to remind them that you're still there. So there you go, we've got a bit of glue splodges, but that's all right, they will dry, it will dry clear. I have tested this glue, but it is a bit runny, this first sample. This is only the first sample and it is a bit runny, to tell you the truth. So I think we've got a way to go before we're there. But that's not bad for a first sample. It's not quite as good as the first batch, but I think it will be by the time we get there. So there we go, we've got our card which says for you, and it will stand up really nicely like that. And there we go. So have a fabulous weekend, and I will be back not Tuesday but on Monday with our brand new series of using our nesting dies to make large numbers, not letters, numbers. You can use them for letters, and if you want another one after that for letters, we'll do one. But several people have asked in the comments from my previous videos if I would make a set of numbers, large numbers from my nesting die, so that we can all do it together. And these will be huge, they'll be 4-inch numbers. So if that's what you're interested in and you haven't got 4-inch numbers or the large dies that are available, you can do it with your nesting dies. And I will be showing you how, or starting to show you how, on Monday with a really easy number 1. That is really, really easy to do. That's probably about the easiest there is. So we'll start that on Monday and see how we go from there. And in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Have a great weekend. Take care, have fun, and as always, happy crafting. Bye bye for now.